One, two, three, four.
You are listening to They Must Be Destroyed on Sight. The following podcast contains adult language, adult situations, and spoilers for the movies discussed occur often. You've been warned. Now, take it away, Dr. Rausch.
They must be destroyed on sight.
All right, we're back. It is They Must Be Destroyed on Sight, episode 230. And I'm your host, Lee, not just any dune buggy, Russell. And I'm joined by my co-hosts. First off, we have Lee. I'll arm wrestle you for it, Hardy. How you doing, man?
And I will win.
Most likely,
my 4 feet and 11 inches. Totally win.
You've got a good center of gravity, is what it is. So
tiny arms.
I always heard them say that about short people in like pro wrestling. It's like this fucking short guy has no chance against like Hulk Hogan. Well, he's got a good center of gravity. He's very,
It's always true.
Mm-hmm. And we're joined by Paul. We're already mad Ramali. How you doing, sir?
Good. Glad to be here. I'll do some hot dogs and beer.
Mm-hmm. I have some questions about that scene too, by the way, once we get to it. But we are doing a Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill film, one of the many ones they did, and we'll get into that once we get into some of the background here. But we are doing Watch Out, We're Mad from 1974. But before we get to that, we got a little bit of house cleaning to do. So first off, we have an iTunes review. And
what?
Yeah, it's been a while. It actually came last month. JD Woodstock via Apple Podcasts said, "Good times." And then his comment is, "Nice stuff, guys. Keep it up." And gave us 5 stars. So there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I mean, you guys listen out there, if you want to give us a 5-star review on iTunes, we're not going to tell you no. Or Apple Podcasts, whatever the fuck you call it now. It does help people find our podcast easier the more 5-star reviews we get. So if you want to do that, please do. And just let us know. Go to the Facebook thing. And, if you're not part of the group, join the fucking group. Go in there, tell us, we made a review on iTunes, and also tell me what country you're from, because you have to change the fucking region in iTunes just to find the reviews. So if you're like from Great Britain, as this person was, you actually have to change to Great Britain on the region code just to read the fucking reviews, which is the stupidest thing ever, but whatever. Moving on, although it's been a week or so since it's been out now, I made a recent appearance on the Mustachioed Podcastio, hosted by my friend Daniel Segura, who does movies but featuring people with great mustaches. And we did Franco Nero in Street Law And that was a lot of fun. And I think you should listen to it because you might enjoy it. So there you go. Moving on, we'll just talk about what we've watched or purchased in the last little while. I'll throw over to you first, Lady Lee. Anything new?
Yeah. So I've watched a ton of movies in the last couple weeks, but the two that I want to bring up, one of them is called Chick Fight, and it recently came out. Mm-hmm. The only thing I want to say about that movie is the fact that during this movie, when the girls fight, they don't have their hair tied back. Do you know how much that bugged me? Like, this movie is about, I don't know, it kind of bugged me. Like, the whole movie kind of bugged me because they're talking about, like, being tough and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the first thing they did was try to train the girl's head. You can't train someone's head. Like, once people have head injuries, they have head injuries. They don't just magically go away and make them tougher. Like, you can't callous your brain. Like, it's just, and then, yeah, they didn't tie the hair back. That really bugged me. So I started my intro to film class for my summer course. And so every week we have to watch a movie. And this week the movie that I had to watch was No Man Land. Maybe that's pronounced that right. It was really interesting. I didn't even know this existed in general, so it was kind of new knowledge to me. It was the first time I've ever watched a movie where I really watched a movie where I had to watch for like certain things that I'm looking for. So I thought it was kind of cool. Like, I was recognizing the camera angles and the music that was playing and like the shots that were taken. So I thought that was interesting to kind of like see it from a different perspective. Instead of just like seeing the movie, I was like watching it and analyzing it more so than I do now.
Well, I mean, and I have a question for you here. So, since you watched this movie, and I'll just ask you this:
have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Yes.
Okay, good. You're learning. You're moving your way up. Soon you will be a film guru. It'll be great.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, like, as this course goes on, what I take from it. I might just become a snob, and you might hate me. So. We're all fucking snobs on this show anyway, so it's fine. I mean, I've been told that, so it's good. Paul, what have you been watching or purchasing lately? Anything interesting?
Well, as a callous, cynical snob that hates you all anyway, not too much. I did just purchase 4 films. 2 of the films are related with Laura Gensimer.
Oh yeah,
and 2 of the films are related with horse penis. So that worked out well.
They're the Emmanuel films. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You're close. Yeah, and the first one I got was a 1968 film called The Green Slime.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Absolutely fantastic. And actually, there's an actor in it who plays in Mako, Jaws of Death. I really liked. He had a very William Shatner vibe to him.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Then I got Dracula's Widow with Laura Gensimer in it. Then I have, as you mentioned already, Emmanuel in America, which is with the infamous barn scene, which is very interesting. And then I had something which I'm going to add. Technically, because of the way I've seen it anyway, I'm going to add it to my werewolf collection because it is a beast of some kind. But it's the French film from 1975, La Bestie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
And I have that on a DVD Blu-ray combo now. So I have that. I didn't get all of them in yet, but I have some of them. So I'm very excited to sit down and watch them at my house for the first time. Most of them I've only just seen on the internets.
The Green Slime has a fucking awesome theme song to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's got its own theme song too. So I watched the trailer. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, I have to get this immediately. The film that I watched, that I actually sat down recently and watched because I purchased this also recently, was Evil Tunes with David Carradine. And I'll tell you what, just watching, well, one, all the 80s random breasticles and creepy sex cartoon, rapey goodness is just fun, and just the big tongues and everything like that. That's comically 80s joyous goodness boobies, and with Michelle Bauer, and they were just really quick. But it's Friday.
Oh yeah,
Friday night.
it's what Dick Miller and
that's what I was going to say. Just the joy of watching Dick Miller, just being Dick Miller, is amazing. I love the fact that he's watching Buckets of Blood and he goes, "I wonder why this guy never won an Oscar."
Yeah.
I love it when Laura Gensmer came out, and she said, "But it's Friday," and whips out her tits, and he's like, "There's a Friday on every week."
You mean Michelle Bauer?
Michelle Bauer, rather. And then she just gets she gets frustrated and turns and goes back in the bedroom. Then you hear the 2-stroke motor fire up, and he's like, "You're gonna hurt yourself with that thing." I was like, "Oh, Dick Miller, I love you so much." I just love that. Oh, by the way, I just like to mention too that Dr. Roush just had a birthday here 2 days ago. I do believe, and now he's 88. So there you go.
Shit.
So happy birthday,
our mascot.
Yep, there's our mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Little Richie. But no, that's what I've been watching and enjoying and purchased so far. So I am looking forward to diving into those films as well.
Awesome. Yeah, Evil Toons. Did that come after Roger Rabbit or was it before?
88 or 89, I think, for Evil Toons.
Oh, so I think that's after Roger Rabbit.
Right, it's after.
Yeah. But I mean, they're like, you got Roger Rabbit interacting with real people. We'll have a cartoon demon sexually assault women and possess people. And yeah, okay.
Yeah, and honestly, when I look at it, I go, that's just Tasmanian Devil, right? So how did you not get sued for that?
He is totally
the Tasmanian Devil.
He totally is the Tasmanian Devil. He even does like all Tasmanian Devil shit, pretty much. Like I think he eats out a chick at one point with his fucking cartoon tongue.
Well, that was the whole thing. The whole family was like, "Wow, how does he get his tongue in there?" It's just so funnily written and actually has a really cool quote right at the beginning from Olin Ray. Mm-hmm. I was like, "Oh, cool! Look at you. That's awesome."
Yeah, right.
But it's just that cheap 80ness fun. Where everyone's having a stupid fun time doing it, and it's just there for enjoyment.
Oh yeah, no, it's just like Nightmare Sisters and Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl-orama, that kind of vibe.
Love that.
Yeah.
Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just stupid fun.
We're gonna have to do some of those films for, at the very least, for some.
I own all of them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some intermission episodes on some of those, I think, at some point. Okay, I just have two things that I watched recently. First one is Farewell Friend, also known, I think, Honor Among Thieves or something like that, from 1968. It's got Charles Bronson and Alain Delon. This is like Charles Bronson's first breakthrough role in Europe. Made him just a fucking megastar in Europe. Like his career had kind of petered out, and he was like in his late 40s at this point. He just hit it big here, and that got him like the spaghetti westerns and stuff that he ended up doing over there. Yeah, this like made him a big megastar, and it's basically a heist film where they're these two guys from the French Foreign Legion, and I don't know if you guys are aware of how the French Foreign Legion works. It's basically if you're a criminal, you join the French Foreign Legion, and then you get your record expunged after you've done your service, basically. I don't know if they still do that, but that used to be the rule. So they get out of the French Foreign Legion, and they get into a heist together, basically. They're sort of like, they don't like each other, and Charles Bronson is just like a total dick in this film. He keeps intruding on Alain Delon's life, basically. And they're tasked with like breaking into this vault over the Christmas holidays, and the whole thing is like, they got a couple days to like get into this vault once they sneak into the building or whatever, undisturbed. And anyway, the heist goes wrong, and they have to escape. And there's all kinds of good stuff going on in it. It's really, really well done. The other one I'll mention is Sitting Target from 1972, and this is an Oliver Reed film. And he's basically just career criminal. He's doing his latest stint in jail, and he's just a total sociopath. He's totally fine with being in jail because he knows when he gets out, his wife's going to be waiting for him. But she shows up one day and talks to him and says, basically, "I'm leaving you for another man." And so just right on that day, he's like, okay, I got to break out of jail and kill her and this dude. He's not the most likable guy in the I'll put it that way, but you can't stop watching him. And also his sidekick is Ian McShane as just this psychopathic little prick who's like even worse than him. So it kind of makes Oliver Reed the protagonist by default and a bit more likable, even though he's still a total piece of shit. And it's just about him breaking out of jail and then hunting down his ex-wife to kill her. And there's a bit of a twist at the end, and it's really, really fucking good. This one's going to be on my best of list at the end of the year, for sure.
It's going to be one I'm definitely going to have to track down, since I really like Oliver Reed films. And I can totally understand the premise of the film now that I have an ex-wife. But
my dad actually met Oliver Reed.
Oh my God. That's okay.
It was on the set of Tommy, actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was with Oliver Reed and Keith Moon at the bar when he met them. Yeah, so.
Oh my God.
I thought that was just cool just to say. Yeah, it was, my dad was talking about how, he was telling Oliver Reed how he enjoyed him in The Devils. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I thought that was just a cool.
Jesus Christ, man! I'm surprised your dad survived because I mean, so Oliver Reed and Keith Moon, two notorious alcoholics and hellraisers.
They were saints. What are you talking about?
No,
I can't remember what my dad said, but they said they offered him a drink, and it was pretty much just like hard liquor in like a pint glass. Mm-hmm. I can't remember exactly.
Peter O'Toole there too. It'd be amazing.
Oh Jesus Christ! Yeah, but
he met a lot of people that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was kind of Oliver Reed's modus operandi, though. Like even on films, like there are stories of him like filming all day and just throwing back bottles of wine while he's filming. You know, basically by halfway through the day, there was directors saying like, you know. He was great up until about noon, and then he was drunk off his ass after that, and it was just impossible. But you know, yeah.
Well, good thing Tommy, he had to act like a drunk, so
yeah,
he wasn't acting. Perfect.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Natural.
I mean, have we done the Mr. Russell's The Devils?
We have not. We should.
No, we were talking about it. You and I were talking about it.
Because I have that too. Yeah.
I would like to watch that again.
I believe
that's definitely not as crazy as I thought it would be that I actually watched it, but it's still enjoyable.
There's a lot of different cuts of it too, and apparently there's still like missing footage from that film that has just never been found.
And it's banned in certain countries, or certain parts of countries, certain countries.
Pretty much any Catholic dominated country, I assume.
Because when my dad saw it, he saw it when it first came out. Mm-hmm. So he saw it in the 70s. Yeah. He saw it like fresh when it came out. I think he saw it in theaters actually. Ooh. So he saw like the original cut, and I think he told me like it's either hard to find or it's hard to find the original.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should do I think The Devils is actually probably on our list if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, it's Ken Russell. We should end up talking about Altered States and also do. Lair of the White Worm as well at some point, I think.
That's a fun one.
All right. So we're going to take a break. We're going to play a little bit of music from the film, and we're going to come back and talk about Watch Out, We're Mad.
You ungodly warlock.
Motion Picture Massacre is dedicated to exploitation, cult, grindhouse, and horror films from the last 7,500 fucking years. I don't fucking know. It's everything. You're interested in that, check out motionpicturemassacre.com, or if you're on iTunes, search Motion Picture Massacre, and you'll find it. This has been your announcer, Cowardly Fuck Your Bags, signing off. Eat a dick.
You ungodly warlock.
we're back, and it is time to talk about Watch Out, We're Mad from 1974. This is directed by Marcello Fondato, who is more of a writer than a director. I'm scanning his career here. He wrote on Mario Bava's Black Sabbath from 63, Blood and Black Lace from 64, and he also had a part in the classic heist film from 1967, Grand Slam, which is really, really good. This is written by Vincente Celio, Jesus R. Fulgar, and of course, Marcello Fondato actually wrote on this as well. And Francesco Scardamaglia. Wow. Scardamaglia. I think I nailed it. I think I nailed it that time. So this is starring Terrence Hill as Kid, and this is actually Mario Giorotti, his real name, but Terrence Hill was his sort of stage name from about the late 60s onward. He made his first film at the age of 12, which was Vacation with a Gangster from 1952, also known as Holiday for Gangsters, and he's just had an ongoing, prolific film career. He's still alive today. He's still making movies, but he is most famous for pairing up with the next gentleman here, Bud Spencer, as Ben. This is Carlo Pedersoli, who died in 2016, but he is the first Italian to swim the 100-meter freestyle in less than a minute. He actually went to, I think, like swimming camp or something with Terrence Hill as a kid, but they didn't know each other at that time. They just kind of coincidentally, their lives kind of intersected several times before they even started making films together. He competed as a swimmer on the Italian national team in the Olympic Summer Games in Helsinki and Finland and in Melbourne, Australia. And he was also an Olympic class water polo player. So I think explains how agile he is for a big man. He's sort of got that athlete's stamina and cardio and stuff going on. These two gentlemen, we won't get too deep into their filmography or anything like that, but they worked together on 18 different films. The very first time they appeared together, they still didn't really know each other, was in 1959's Hannibal. And they went on to star in a bunch of classic films where it was actually billed as these two together as a team. And their last film they did together was 1994's Troublemakers. Moving on, we have Patty Shepard as Eliza. And I immediately recognized her. She is in The Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman, which I know Paul is familiar with, one of the Paul Naschy films.
My favorite Paul Naschy film.
She's also in The Witch's Mountain, and she had some later period horror films as well, like Slugs and Edge of the Axe in the 80s.
Slugs from 1988 is a must-watch.
Mm-hmm. Slugs is pretty good. I like that film. We have Deogratis Huerta as Attila, John Sharp as the boss. I recognized him from The Wicker Man. He's in that from 1973. He's actually a pretty prolific English actor who I guess was just taking a paycheck here, but he walks away with the film several times. Manuel de Blas as Paganini, the hitman in this film. Only thing I recognized, credits here, Ghost Galleon. He was in the Ghost Galleon, apparently. I have to rewatch that now and find him, but he's
one of
still...
the best Tombs of the Blind Dead ones ever.
Oh, yeah, just the best one.
The best.
The best one if you like seeing a fucking toy boat in a bathtub.
I did get a serious giggle that the actor named Paganini couldn't play a violin.
Yeah, that is a great joke. There's so many fucking good jokes in this film. We have Luis Barbero as Jeremiah's. We have Donald Pleasance just out of nowhere showing up in this as the doctor. I don't think we have to tell anybody who Donald Pleasance is. And then we have Emilio Laguna as the conductor. And we have a synopsis here on IMDb. After tied first place in a local stunt race, two drivers start a contest to decide who of them will win the prize, a dune buggy. But when a mobster destroys the car, they are determined to get it back. There's really no plot to this film. Like, there really isn't. There a lot of stuff happens, like, I think this is the most stuff I've seen happen in a film that has no plot at all. We'll get into it here. So, Paul, what were your thoughts on this?
Oh, I was just excited to watch a Bud Spencer film. You know, just a lot of fisticuffs. Basically, I knew it was coming. It wasn't there was no serious tone to the home film.
No.
And it is a mixed buddy slapstick comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And and the more I watched it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, this is they're not even trying to be serious here. But at the same time, it's really overly at top, well orchestrated with everything that's happening. Like it's fantastic what's happening. It's just stupid. It's one of those kind of deals. And like they make sure they go overboard with the guy that keeps on wanting to get up and get punched. He's like, not again. It's just ridiculous. And they really throw Bud Spencer over the epic side with how strong he is and everything he can do. And but at the same time, it's generally enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. Lady Lee.
I thought it was a lot of fun. It was, like you said, the movie had no real plot to it. It was just kind of one of those movies where you watch it and you're like, this story could literally be told in about 5 minutes, but let's make it as dragged out with everything as we can as possible, which was actually a lot of fun. Like, I'm not complaining. My biggest complaints with a lot of older movies is that when they have scenes, they always make them too long. This one I found it was kind of nice. Like, I didn't find them too long. I found the actual action very entertaining to watch, and it wasn't overboard, drawn out. And I do enjoy like the over exaggeration. Like the beginning with the car race, that track was not that big. There could not have been that many vehicles, and there just kept being more and more vehicles. And I had such a laugh at that. I thought that was hilarious.
More and more intricate, and then it goes through rivers and swamps. And up.
Yeah.
And by the way, Terrence Hill's car did not make it over that creek.
No, it did not.
It obviously did not.
It was just so much fun to watch. Same with like the fight scenes. They were just so ridiculous and so over the top and like really fake. Like some of the things they did, you can obviously tell wouldn't hurt somebody, but visually like they look so appealing. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the strength of Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
Spencer,
yeah, and then the agility of the other guy, kid, Terrence Hill. Yeah, because he was just, you could tell he was just having fun doing this movie. Like, it was just this goofy, like, whatever. And you could also tell a lot of times with the movie, it was like a lot of one shots for like the action scenes. So it wasn't like the whole, like, stop on the action, try a different angle. It was like one take. Like, let's just do this. Like, you go drive this car and we're going to record you. You're going to have this fight. And we're going to record you. And it's just, I don't know. I thought it was really entertaining.
It really
a movie with no plot.
Yeah. And it really helps in a lot of those scenes because they're going big. They're going like cartoon violence basically in this film. You can speed the film up and it still works. Like, it works better that you speed the film up in those scenes, and it makes it doing it in one take much easier because they're going like slow when they're doing some of those fisticuffs when they're actually filming it. Now that the speed of the film is cranked up, it looks like they're like, laying in punches and doing all these fantastic fucking stunts and stuff when really, oh no, they're kind of like casually going through some of these sequences, that they've practiced,
But it's so fun to watch.
No, I love this film. There's always something happening, which is good. Like, it's basically one big set piece to another. Either have a fight or a race or a chase or something stupid going on. There's pretty much always a joke or a visual gag, like almost every 30 seconds. Whether it's just like Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill, like sort of verbally jabbing at each other or complaining about something stupid while there's like a bar being destroyed behind them, and they're just kind of ignoring it. It's just a really good sense of humor throughout the whole thing. You're right about that opening race. It's like Mad Max level stunt work in that race, and these cars are just flipping and being destroyed everywhere. They must have went through 20 cars or something when they did that fucking thing.
And the stunt work in general was pretty impressive. Like, it's not as if they have the safeties they have now.
Yeah,
those car stunts were not the easiest things to do.
Yeah, they couldn't make that film today. It wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah. Same with like the dirt bikes. It was cool. I liked it.
I was so happy when well, actually, mentioned the dirt bike scene. There's a scene in there where I think something got cut or it got put in the wrong spot before. With the guy was talking on the radio, but before you see him put a fork in the one henchman's hand, and it goes back to that scene where all of a sudden Donald Pleasant just goes ow and lifts his hand up, and you can see he's got a cut or something on his hand, and then it goes right back to the regular film where that scene just does not seem like it is put in correctly. because it just happens. And Donald Pleasance is great in this film.
Oh, fucking!
Oh my God.
And just the fact that the main nemesis has to hire a professor to make sure he's more evil is just a joke on itself, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, so like the main bad guy in this is this British gangster who has this exaggerated British accent, basically. Like, I guess it's I don't know if they did this on purpose with the dubbing, but he's very, very British in his dubbing. Like it's excessively so. And Donald Pleasance is basically his evil Nazi psychiatrist who is instructing him to be a better bad guy, is basically what it is. And he's using psychology to do it. Now,
he's saying he's using psychology, but I don't know what psychology they were using.
No.
I'm just laughing because he's like, psychology. Okay.
And so I'm pretty sure Pleasance dubbed his own lines here, and he's just doing a really bad German accent. And he's like, you as a father figure, and you must treat them like your sons and take away the dune buggy. They will submit to you, basically. Like he's giving them like all the worst advice, because Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer are just the chillest dudes in the world, really. Nothing really phases them all that much other than the fact that they got ripped off of their dune buggy and they want it back. So they're like really casual about it. Like they come up to the gangster's restaurant that he owns, and they come in dressed up and everything, and they're nice about it. They're like, listen, the gangsters, so it's a little pretense here. The gangsters attacked this carnival that they're next to, basically, and like ran a bunch of people out just because they're dicks. Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill don't really care about that. Like that's like inconsequential to the plot. They're not like trying to save the day. They're just like, we want our dune buggy back because your thugs destroyed our dune buggy when we were trying to leave when you attacked. And so they're like, listen, give us back the dune buggy and everything's cool. You just build us a new dune buggy, buy us a new dune buggy, whatever. We're cool. And if you don't, well, then we're going to get mad. And the gangster's like, well, fuck you. I'll come after you. And that's like exactly the wrong move.
I enjoyed how there was absolutely no guns in this gang. Like there's just a gang with nobody has guns.
There was one gun in the whole film, and it doesn't. Well, there's two guns in the whole film, but only one gun gets shot, as far as I know. And it's this weird farmer in the field that shoots one of the.
Yes.
He's duck hunting.
One of the bikers that's flying in the air like a skeet.
Yeah, he's duck hunting with like buckshot or something. And that's another great thing about this. There's like several jokes in this that are set up and then they call back. They pay off, so there's a callback to earlier and it pays off. You see that farmer earlier with the bike scene, and he like a bike goes crashing into the bushes that he's hiding in, and it scares the fucking ducks, and so he misses them. And then later on, near the finale of this, one of the bikers gets launched into the air, and then he pops up and shoots him with the buckshot. And then because it's it's actually kind of a kids movie in a lot of ways, you hear the biker go, "Oh, I'm done!" Like he's not dead, he's just hurt.
You can hear every biker. Oh, my back! Oh, that's it! Oh, God!
Yeah. The commentary in the background, like just the bad, just random dubs that come out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Oh, that made me laugh so much. Like just out of nowhere, you'd hear like, "Oh no! Oh, this hurt!"
Yeah, no.
Wait, come back.
Bud Spencer does a lot, like in the fight scenes. He does a lot of like grabbing people's arms and either like flipping them or hitting their arms. And the guy always goes, "No, my arm! I need that arm!" Like I heard that line several times repeated in the film. Like it's fucking hilarious.
It was so ridiculous. And the hot dog eating contest, I don't even understand what contest that was.
It's like eat a hot dog and drink a beer, and it's like to see who can do the most, and whoever does the most wins the buggy, and then also the loser has to pay for all the hot dogs and the beer. So
it would take a long time since they don't know how to pour a beer.
No, you see the foam on their fucking. Although it does change, like when there's a cut, and then you come back, and like their beers are full, like, and they have a proper head on them, right?
That's what happened in the car scene when the car is going through the building. There's a scene where the window smashes, and then the window's perfectly fine. The rest of the car scene again.
Yeah. Did those hot dogs look cooked to you guys? Because they look like raw wieners to me.
They look raw.
Yeah.
They look delicious. Is what they look.
I don't know about that. I don't know if they do it like this was filmed.
I agree with the delicious.
Okay. Well, I mean, this was filmed in Spain. I don't know if they do their hot dogs differently in Spain or not.
There's a type of German hot dog called a rojessa, and basically the way that it's not really all the way cooked, but it's still good. I've eaten many of them when I was in Germany.
Okay.
I put a lot of sausage in my mouth when I was in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, Wiener Schnitzel. Yeah.
But I thought it was just funny though, because when they were doing the hot dog eating contest, it just looked like the one guy was like ahead and the other guy was just like eating. And I know they're counting, but is there an end to this? Like, is it when they're
give
full?
up, I guess. Yeah.
Is it like until they're done? Like,
Yeah, he's
remember the rabbit and the turtle or whatever, and he's like, slow and
slow and steady wins the race.
One of them stops eating, the other one can just keep eating because they're still able to eat. So, but you never really saw the end of that. And then the whole drinking the beer, they saw all the beers that were drunk, but they barely even touch their beers when they're eating the other hot dogs.
Yeah. Nothing makes sense in this film. Like it's just, I gotta say,
it looked a lot more intense in the video game.
It did. I should mention, I think both of you watched me play the video game that's based mostly on this film too. It is sort of based in general on their filmography, but a lot of the shit is actually pulled from this film for the Slaps and Beans video game that you can get on Steam. And it's a lot of fun. It's just a beat 'em up game with mini games in it. And there is the hot dog and beer sort of mini game, which took me a while to figure out to master.
Yeah.
You can, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can go back and look and you can find me frustrated trying to play that shit. Although I did beat the game.
I watched you.
Yeah. I did beat the game, but I gotta mention Bud Spencer. The thing I love about him is like I kind of feel like he's almost my spirit animal in a way, because just how dissatisfied he always looks about things. Like he just wants to be left alone. And Terrence Hill keeps coming up into his life, and he can never like really smile all that much. Like he's just usually just like, oh fuck this again. Oh my god. Every time like a bunch of people surround him that are wanting to fight him, he just like scratches his head and like sort of looks down like, oh shit, this again.
I like the fact that they showed the fact that he's tough and strong and stuff, but they never made him a badass.
No, he's so him and Terrence Hill are so laid back and casual, right? Like they're not looking to fight anybody, and they're not super violent people or anything like that, but they don't want to get in fights, but they just get forced into them basically. And
But it was more like Terrence is doing too. Like it was more Terrence encouraging Bud.
Mm-hmm.
So Bud was more the passive, while Terrence is more like the aggressor.
It's in Spencer's best interest to basically go along with what Terrence Hill is saying, because I'm going to get my dune buggy at the end of this, so I guess I have to go along with this. Although
super fragile dune buggy.
I was going to say, the one thing that no one pointed out that makes no sense is why they're fighting over an incendiary death trap.
Like got casually touched, and it's like, oh, it gets to blow up now.
And I love the fact that every dune buggy is like a Pinto. Touch it in the rear end, and it explodes in fire. And that's why it's like, are you sure you want this? Because I'd give this to like my nemesis. Here, take this, and I'd throw a rock at it and explode. But every time it explodes, no matter if they're both in it or one's in it, they're never smoky or ashy or anything. They're just normal sitting there. And then it kind of goes to a weird payoff at the end. It's not the payoff that I thought would be at the end, but it's definitely a payoff at the end that I thought was pretty good. Overall, though, I think it's a pretty fun movie, like I said before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I really love this. This is one of my favorites of this. I've seen a few of their films, a couple of the spaghetti westerns they did, the Trinity films and stuff like that. But for me, so far, this is probably my favorite of the ones they've done.
It's so goofy.
It is, but it's so nonstop. Like it's just
yeah.
And there's so many visual jokes. One of the best set pieces here is where they go to that gym. Actually, it's a whole fucking great sequence. So the gangster sends like his top henchman out to rough up Bud Spencer, Terrence Hill, like, follow them out of our restaurant and fuck with them and basically make sure they never come back. So he ends up following them to a carnival, and they just beat the fuck out of, like, they basically show him up, right? They fuck him up at the bumper cars. And then the gangster decides to stay at the carnival and, like, check out the attractions for some reason, hooks up with two
he's
chicks.
got his ladies there, too. He got some ladies. You know?
The one he makes fall off the fucking thing, the rope, to catch her and be like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I almost got you injured, but I saved you."
Yeah, well, that's a different instance. Like, there's a little love story with Terrence Hill and Patty Shepard that's sort of tacked on here, but yeah, like this gangster, he decides, I'm just going to stay at the carnival. And so then it becomes this whole sequence of him bumping into Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill at the carnival. At this point, he's given up, right? He's not trying to show them up anymore or like intimidate them, but they just keep fucking with him. Like, like he tries to get some cokes out of a machine for the two girls he's hooked up with, and he can't get the machine to work. Bud Spencer, Terrence Hill just come over and like hit the machine basically, and out comes all the cokes, out comes all the money in the machine, and then they just walk off. Then they have the fucking rocket thing that show him up in, and then he finally gets pissed off and he walks away, and they decide to follow him to this gym. So apparently he has a membership in this place or some shit, right? Because he comes out later in like a fucking kimono. I don't know anybody who dresses for a gym in a kimono.
You've never seen Paul Ellering then.
Unless it's like a dojo or something.
I guess, because everyone in this gym is dressed like in 1920s fashions. Like, they all look like 1920s circus strongmen, basically, kind of thing. Yeah. Like, and then
it would almost seem like a trap, like a henchman gym. Like, it's all that's just all that. And, if you walk in there and you're not one of those, you're gonna get beat up.
You didn't say it was a trap.
Yeah, they did say. Yeah,
I will say though, Attila did have a little bit of a tough guy moment, which is pretty fucking crazy. It's at the beginning when he first came out. Mm-hmm. They were driving by, and he was next to that gas pump, and he just put the gas over there and lit through the fire and lit the whole car on fire. I was like, that was pretty badass. That was pretty good. Even though we all know that cigarette would have not lit the gas. We all know that, but it's pretty fucking badass.
Yeah, you would have had to like rub that cigarette really hard against it to get some like friction.
That was a pretty badass scene. And again, it's one of those scenes that probably wouldn't happen again.
Yeah, I was gonna say those stunt people were driving the car, then fire. Like, it wasn't just let's put it. This is like an actual car that's on fire that's being driven.
And then, but at the same time, the payoff is when they get into the car wash, they're still just casual about it. Man, this thing was really dirty. Yeah.
I like the fact that they rear-ended a car and there was nothing that was brought up out of that. Like, person in front was just like, oh, whatever, it got rear-ended. It's cool. like no
everybody's relaxy taxi.
Scoozy, kind of thing.
I did enjoy the dance scene where they all trade partners. So when they did the henchman did the shoulder tapping, and they would just be like, okay, switch, and they would like switch partners. And I did enjoy when Bud went to go dance with the short girl. And he went put his arms up. I was like, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
I was sad. Bud had a sad face on that he got the cute short girl. I'm like, oh, come on, Bud. It's good.
No, Bud is not interested in romance at all. He's only interested in the dune buggy, whereas Terrence Hill can be distracted by pretty women, basically.
Ooh, look. Yeah. I work on cars.
Yeah.
Have you noticed these type of movies, they find the people with like the most bluest freaking eyes?
I knew you were going to bring this up.
I knew you were going to say that too. Yeah. I was like, oh, here she goes, talking about eyes again.
The fucking hitman in this film has the grayest eyes I've ever seen in my life. I was convinced they were contacts, and then I looked up pictures of him. He's still alive today. Those are his eyes. He's gray as fuck. Like, and
the other guy had like stupidly blue eyes, and the other girl was like, just where do they get these people? Like, I walk around all the time and I just watch a bunch of movies, and I rarely see somebody with that vibrant of eyes unless they're contacts. And these are people who are just like, by the way, guys, check out my eyes. Hire me because I have these fucking gorgeous eyes.
Yeah, the last big set piece in this is the balloon room fight, which is
I fucking hate balloons.
It's fucking brilliant though. Like every time you hear a pop, every time you hear a balloon pop, it feels like 10 more balloons suddenly appear in the room somehow because there's just way too many fucking balloons in here.
I will say, like, because I was watching it and it's so simplistically written. I'm like logically and simplistically, no matter how crazy it gets. The guy said, "Yeah, I can't let you in, big party. I'll tell you what, no, I can't let you in." And I'm like, "You got a car?" And he went, and then he got in. He goes, "You gonna do this?" Yep. And then it went. The joys of small Italian motor vehicles. You can get upstairs and everything.
Yeah,
that was so funny to watch.
Probably, even though there's a lot of great ones, something about that, just the badassery of that, was probably my favorite scene in the movie.
They fuck up the entire party. They just drive around, and here's where I go. By the way, John Landis, you fucking hack. The Blues Brothers totally ripped this film off.
I was about to bring up the Blues Brothers too.
Their relationship together, where they're so nonchalant and cool, that's the Blues Brothers. Them driving through a fucking like enclosed space and fucking everything up. Blues Brothers did it too.
The over-exaggerated number of like cars in the beginning, that reminded me of the Blues Brothers. And then like the balloons, there's so many balloons. And I don't know, I got that too because like the Blues Brothers was always, anytime something happened, it was always over-exaggerated.
The Balloon Brothers.
The Balloons Brothers.
Balloon Brothers.
But fucking the brilliant thing about that balloon sequence too is they had so many balloons on the floor that they could cover all the crash pads that they had to throw the stuntmen on. So there's just all these scenes of people being thrown over guardrails and stuff like that into the floor, and it's like they're falling on crash pads, but the balloons fucking cover them all. So it's just like
come out like from a kid's ball pit, ready to fight, and it's just
I hate balloons. That scene was just like making me anxious. It was funny to watch. Don't get me wrong. Like I definitely enjoyed it, but I fucking hate balloons.
Oh man, so much good stuff in this film, from just the simple jokes to like the visual jokes. Like there's several sequences in this film where they're evading. You said the dance sequence, like they're basically evading the top henchman guy in the dance sequence by tapping on shoulders and switching partners and stuff, and they avoid Paganini in the singing choir sequence or whatever by moving around in the choir, and he keeps trying to get new angles on them to shoot, and there's all these like weird happenstances that are blocking him from taking a shot, and it's just fucking really good, like physical comedy, visual comedy, really well done.
That song was driving me crazy though by the end.
La, 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 la. Did that song drive you crazy as much as this one?
Come with me for fun in my buggy.
That one too.
Come on, let's go for the holiday.
It's just so funny. Like every time there's a scene and that song played, I'm like, oh, how creative.
Yeah, so the whole score is done by the DeAngelis brothers, who did all kinds of shit. Coincidentally, we didn't actually do this film just because I'm actually doing a Blood on the Track series on them right now as well on the feed. But I mean, they did a little bit of everything. Also known as Oliver Onions, and they did Dune Buggy on this, and they actually kind of used that song in future films. The podcast I just did, Mustachio Podcastio, that song pops up on the radio in a scene just as part of the film. It just pops up as like a pop song that's playing in the background or whatever.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but I mean, they did a little. Yeah, they did a little bit of everything. Like they did the soundtrack to Torso, which Paul would be familiar with.
Love it.
Oh, he muted out again.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. But it's a really good score, and I love everything about this film. It's fucking
it was
brilliant.
So over the top goofy, and I think that's why I enjoyed it. Like I went in and I didn't know what I was to expect. I wasn't expecting something so goofy, that's for sure. But I started it and I was like, oh my God, is this going to be one of those like badly acted movies or like over exaggerated anything? And then when it actually happened, I was like, okay, it's intentionally bad acting and it is over exaggeration, but on purpose. And I loved it. Like they had no real storyline. And there wasn't as if there was a climax or something crazy to the story that was really intense, like the storyline. No, but the actual action? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, my pinnacle point of that, knowing that or realizing that, was like, oh my god, it's Donald Pleasance. Like this might be fucking serious shit. And then he went, oh, never mind. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Donald, he can do everything. I think he's just so good at everything. It's amazing. I just watched Night Hunter not too long ago, with the big Black Panther.
Oh
with
yeah.
him. Yeah, that was really good too. But yeah, he can just do anything.
Yeah, he just pops up in this, and it's just him and John Sharp, who plays the boss there. Whenever there's a scene with him together, they just kind of like walk away with the film themselves, you know? Like, you almost kind of want to film with those two also, just doing shit. And you can tell Donald Pleasance having just the time of his life. He's probably getting paid fairly well, and he's just getting to do whatever the fuck he wants, basically.
If I'm not wrong, there's a couple scenes where he's just sitting at a table eating a carrot like it's a piece of corn.
Yes.
It's just a carrot like a corn cob.
Yeah, no, he's just being fucking crazy. It's great. It's fucking amazing.
This was a movie that a lot of people had fun doing because you could catch like smiles on the actors' faces.
Yeah.
So like, I guess like obviously with the situations happening, they're laughing, but you can tell like it's not so serious. Like it is something that they were having fun doing.
Yeah, it always feels like, I don't know if it's true or not, but it feels like there was a lot of riffing going on in this film. They were probably coming up with ideas on the day, kind of thing, for far as jokes and shit go. Like, they probably had all their set pieces lined up, but the stuff they did around it, it feels like they were just kind of like casually filling it out. Like, we'll make some jokes here about this, and we'll call back to this. Maybe even the fucking. This was probably scripted. The sort of callback joke of Bud Spencer not liking cigar smoke. Where every time he runs into someone with a cigar, he starts to get a little irritated. But yeah, I think it's pretty much unanimous across the board here that we all like this one.
Absolutely hated this.
What's that?
Absolutely hated this. You can just tell. Now, about the ending, did you think? Now, this is just me. I thought it was going to be the way they had it is where the story continues, basically. But I thought it was going to be they have two buggies. They're driving around like douchebags. They hit both buggies. Both buggies explode. They sit there on the corner, and the guy's like, "Sorry about your car. Sorry about your car," and that's the end. Like
that would have been a better ending.
Nothing, But the way they ended it continues the friendship, kind of like jousting each other, I guess. But
yeah,
it's like a hot dog eating contest.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have not been opposed to them doing Watch Out, We're Mad too. They run into another gangster, or they demand they flip for the buggy. They're doing their shit again, and then they run into another gangster who fucks with their buggy, and it's like, we got to get another one from them. Yeah, and let's just do the whole film over again. We'll come up with some new creative fucking fight scenes and stuff, and just have fun. But.
We love the film and how goofy it is and all this stuff. It would be interesting to actually do a deep dive in under some of the unknown stuff about it and find 64 stuntmen were injured and killed during the thing. But it's so fun. Everyone had a good time.
Everyone had a great time, yeah.
You know what? They died doing something they loved.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Lovely moment in history. No, it was great. I wanted the payoff of "Sorry about your car, sorry about your car" because that's how it kind of was at the beginning of the film. When it first,
you're right. Yeah. That actually makes more sense as the ending. That's actually the better joke too, and it's also the better buddy comedy moment where they come together and they kind of realize, you know what, we're friends, and we actually give a shit about each other. And that works better as the buddy comedy end moment. But I mean, the ending is still pretty good as far as ending on a joke. But
it continues their rivalry, I guess, and and it's more of a camaraderie rivalry.
It is. It really is.
Exactly.
I was so sad when Bud got kicked out of the choir. It was so sad for him.
He tried so hard too.
Yeah.
I like that he was yelling it in people's ears.
Mm-hmm.
Right it.
There was one lady there that was right into it though. She was like, "Yeah, you keep fucking doing your thing there, bud." And then the rest of the people were horrified.
And the guy directing the choir basically at one point in time just took out and just threw everything. Screw it.
Yeah, fuck it.
But
I like how they have the spare things, the sticks, the wands, the whatever. I don't know what they're actually called, the technical term, but how it just kept breaking them when there was a new one there.
The conductor's wand.
Yeah.
Now
The conductor, his face. What was that?
He was pale as fuck, wasn't he? Like
That was terrifying.
it was the singing that made him sick. I will let us before we end this. Let me take this thing over, and let's go back a little bit and go back to the motorcycle area, the dirt bike area, because they're not motorcycles, they're dirt bikes. But did anyone else, if you've watched this in the movie world, of whoever I'm talking to or talking to Lee, Night Riders? Did you get Night Riders? Someone watching that
with the jousting, definitely.
With the jousting, I'm like, I'm watching Night Riders all of a sudden. What is going on? I wonder, did they watch this and then come up with Night Riders? I'm like, where's Ed Harris?
Well, baby, then we should say George Romero, you fucking hack. Jesus Christ.
You fucking hack.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I mean, so like it gets into the jousting thing, but before that, they actually do a spoof on The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and Once Upon a Time in the West, because they have the spaghetti western
music
standoff and the music and the close ups on their eyes and stuff. So they do a brief little fucking spoof, which is pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's when you get to see those baby blues.
Yeah,
but no, that was a good moment for me too, because I'm like, oh my god, I'm watching fucking Night Riders all of a sudden.
you expect Tom Savini to show up, or some shit.
Exactly. Well, it's a hell of a mustache. He's probably going to be on the Mustachio podcast at some point in time.
He should be. I'll probably hit up Daniel and say, well, we should find some fucking Tom Savini movie. Might as well do Night Riders.
Dark Craving, also known as Heartstoppers, he had an A+ mustache going.
And it only has to be a cameo for the Mustachio Picasso too. Like it could be a bit part if they have a mustache. That's the only pretense he needs.
Did TA ever do a film, because he had a hell of a mustache?
I don't think Magnum TA has ever done a film, but I mean, since he's a ripoff of Tom Selleck, you can find a Tom Selleck film. Yeah,
hell of a fucking mustache.
All right. As far as release info for this is actually a very hard film to come across as far as getting a physical copy of. It's on YouTube for free, so that's your best bet, and it looks good. It's a really good print for YouTube. I think it's probably one of the foreign prints because it is in widescreen on YouTube too. I think the only North American version of this is in 4:3, so it's the TV aspect ratio. You can get this off Rare Lust. That's about it, unless you have a region free player. There's Blu-ray and DVD foreign releases of this one, which is a little unfortunate. The only North American release is just the chopped down 4:3 aspect ratio one, but it's still a great film, no matter how you see it. Really, it's pretty goddamn good. So, Paul, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Over there at PA Brew News on YouTube and Oil Paintings by P. Rameli on Facebook and also at Twitter as well. Maniacs Meet podcast, Twitter, Facebook, PA Brew News, YouTube, the whole deal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Go buy his paintings.
Someone did. I have to ship it to her.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. No, his paintings are really, really good.
They are really good.
And Lady Lee, anything you want to plug?
Nothing today. You can find me here on this podcast with Lee and Paul.
Woe is you, listener. Woe is you. And if you want to find more of our stuff, more of our podcasts, all of our side podcasts and all that bullshit, go to tmbdos.podbean.com. You'll find everything there. YouTube links, Facebook links, join the Facebook group, all that good stuff. Not sure what we're doing next. Daniel's going to be back pretty soon. He has told me he's kind of done with his hiatus, so he wants to get back in the groove. We've been talking about doing a couple different movies. So when he gets back, I think we still have a few more Glinda Farrell movies or something like that he recently bought a DVD of, and he's burning for us and all that shit. And we had some talks about doing Michael Mann's Heat, which would be a big episode, a bunch of different guests and stuff on that. We have some other shit in the works. So we're sort of getting back in the groove here. So, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you guys continuing to join in and listen to us every week. We still have for years now, we've had our sort of core 70 or 80 solid listeners. And then usually, they usually show up the first week and our episode gets those listens. And then we gain another 30 over the next couple weeks or whatever, kind of thing for some of our episodes. So we do really appreciate you guys listening. It's pretty cool.
Listen and share.
Yeah. And thank you, Lee. Thank you, Paul. It was always fun. And we'll be back when we're back. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Carry me for fun in my buggy. Come along, let's go for the holiday. See the birds around, they're all looking. Wonder if they like to come for a ride. I'll bet you anything. Dash with me, there'll be no trouble. Troubles around, but you'll never ever get away. Never ever get away. Dune buggy. See the walls be running, dune buggy. Sing along, let's ground for up off the ground. Never feels so good, she's a beauty. And she is inside for your paradise. I bet you anything. First on their minds, we had some trouble. Following on, but you'll never ever catch us up. Never ever catch us up. Dune buggy. I feel like a king in my buggy. Just the crown is missing, but that's alright. Come on, people, come on my buggy. Come and feel the power of a starry night. I bet you anything. Dash with me, there'll be no trouble. Troubles around, but you'll never ever get away. Never ever get away. Dune buggy. I feel like a king. I feel like a king in my body. Just the crown is missing, but that's alright. Come on, people, come on my body. Come and feel the power of a starry night. I feel like a king in my body. Just the crown is missing, but that's alright. Come on, people, come on my body. Come and feel the power of a starry night. I feel like a king in my body. Just the crown is missing, but that's alright.
Thank you for listening to They Must Be Destroyed on Sight. For further episodes, our Apple Podcasts, Facebook, and YouTube links, please go to tmbdos.podbean.com. Thank you. Drive through.